Everybody, welcome back to CAF's Heroes of Sport. My name is Bob Babbitt, co-founder of Challenged Athletes Foundation. Every week, we get to interview some of the world's most amazing challenged athletes, and this week is no different. She is a six-time Olympic gold medalist. She was the most decorated athlete at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. Her name is Amy Van Dyken. Amy, how are you?
Hi, Bob. What is new with you?
Oh my God, so much fun stuff going on. I love the fact the video just dropped of you out on your new Lasher E off-road hand cycle. How fun was that?
Oh my gosh, it was awesome. Listen, I had so much fun at the event, but then watching it back and the job that you guys did putting that together, the job that Petey did with all of the drone shots and all of that, I felt like I was there again. I literally looked at my husband. I'm like, we got to get badass Betty back out there. Let's go today. So I jumped right back on her. She was ready to go.
What's fascinating is obviously swimming was your happy place.
Yeah.
And in 2014, when you were paralyzed, the natural thought would have been, okay, Amy was a six-time Olympic gold medalist in swimming. She's going to jump right back into Paralympics, but swimming was not your happy place anymore. Why?
No, it wasn't. It was, it's one of those things where I was so good at what I did. I could do anything with my body that I wanted to in the water. And then all of a sudden my body was quote unquote failing me. I couldn't do what I always did. So it became a struggle with the water and fighting the water as opposed to like being one with the water. And that's the best way that I can explain it, the feeling that I have and that I had.
So you got into CrossFit, and obviously fitness has always been a part of your life and needed to be a part of your life. But what people don't understand is when somebody is paralyzed, getting into the backcountry, getting on the trails, wheelchairs aren't meant for that. So that part of your life, you were injured in an ATV accident. Obviously, trails were a big part of your life and your new happy place.
Right.
Finding that, being able to get on that Lasher E hand cycle just a few weeks ago, what does that bring to you?
Oh my gosh, so much joy. Being able to be where I was before. And trust me, when you say wheelchairs can't go back there, Bob, it's not for lack of trying. Tried so many times, had to call the husband, I'm stuck, right? So it's not where we can go. So to be able to go back there again, to hear nature, to hear the wind in the trees, to hear the birds. We got to see wild donkeys when we were on our ride in Vegas. Like, how cool is that, right? Like a mom was protecting the baby. It was just amazing. So we miss out on so much of that. And, I always try to tell people who are newly injured, like, your life isn't going to change that much. It shouldn't change that much. But then when you look at it, we had a house in the mountains in Colorado, and I would always take the dog out running in the morning in the backcountry. Well, that's gone, but now it's back. So what that bike means to me that you and everybody helped get for me, it means more than anybody can ever describe. I am a woman, not a few words, and I still can't describe it.
And it's one thing, because we've had off-road hand cycles for a number of years, but the Eassist isn't just a luxury item, it is a necessity. Because if you flat out there, if you have any type of mechanical, or if it's a steep climb, or if it's soft, you need to know you've got an insurance policy with the Eassist.
Well, yeah, exactly. And also what it does too, is it saves our shoulders and our elbows and our wrists, right? So as we're going along, it's also helping us a little bit. We can adjust how much it helps us or not. But what was so cool is when we were in Vegas with Lasher, you'd hear the able-bodied guys who were helping us through some of these really gnarly, what do you want to call them? Obstacles. Let's call them an obstacle. I guess that's what it is, right? And they would be like, just hit the throttle at the bottom. And you're like, wait, that's legal? And it is legal. And it is the most amazing thing ever. If you get too far behind, which I tend to do because I'm chitting, chatting, taking pictures, looking at the things, you just hit that little button and you're right back up there with everybody. It's so cool.
So as a professional athlete, you certainly understood that there would be downtimes from injury. And after 96, where everything went right and you win 4 golds, getting to 2000 healthy, shoulder surgeries, all the rest of that. I mean, there were points where you didn't know if you were going to get well enough to even go to the trials.
Well, exactly. My second shoulder surgery that was supposed to end my career was 6 months to the day of the start of Olympic trials in 2000. Doctors, nurses, everybody, we can't get you ready. And I'm like, I'm sorry, have we met? We're going to get ready. So you know what? I put everything into it, got ready, 3 more events, 2 more gold medals. Not bad for a broken, out of shape swimmer.
So nowadays, because in the past you co-hosted with Rob Dibble, a Fox Sports Radio national show. You co-hosted #1 show in the Phoenix market. What do you do on a regular basis? Are you a motivational speaker? What is Amy Van Dyken do on a regular basis?
So I do what we're doing right now, right? I get to chit and chat with some amazing humans. But my bread and butter is I run around the country and I do motivational speeches, because my life was, you look at an Olympian, right? And you're like, they had everything handed to them. It was so easy, blah, blah, blah. And I tell the story of, listen, I was a severe asthmatic, couldn't walk up and down the stairs by myself. Fast forward to the 96 Olympics. I was told to go home. I was told that I was not good enough to be at those Olympics. And why don't you just go home? And then I know.
No way.
Yeah.
Everybody
does
while
that.
You were there, when you were there?
Yeah. So my very first race, I got 4th. I collapsed with leg cramps. Like it was very dramatic. Right. And I get back and the head coach told me, he's like, I don't think this is your games. I don't think you're ready. Like we'll send you home. And we got someone to take your place. Don't worry about it. Right. So I tell that story. Then I've got going to the 2000 games, not supposed to be there because of shoulder surgeries. Fast forward to 2014. Now my whole life is supposed to be over. So I tell people it's not an easy road, no matter what you think it looks like, right? Like life for an Olympian is Instagram life. We show you what you want to see, right? And what we don't want to show you. We don't show you that hard stuff, but it was there. So that's what I do. Right. Your mouth is still open, Bob. You're shocked at that story.
I knew that you were an asthmatic. I knew that you would overcome a lot, that you really only got into swimming just to help with your asthma. And then you find out you're pretty damn good at it. But I looked at the 96 was just, you ESPY Award, Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year, all these accolades that came out of that.
Right.
And then, when you deal with 2014 and becoming paralyzed, you had already dealt with, obviously not at that level, but you had dealt with hardship.
Yes.
So did those things that you had dealt with, the shoulder surgeries, the asthma, we're going to send you home. How did that help you deal with 2014?
Oh, it helped so much because I had already been through everything that I thought that I could ever go through, right? My whole life, I felt like was climbing out of a hole. And I know that a lot of people who are listening right now, they can relate to me with that, right? It just seemed like everything that happened, was against me. And I taught myself mentally and physically how to fight out of that hole and to become a bright sunflower. That's why I love sunflowers, right? Because they're a weed, but they're also gorgeous. And that's kind of what I am, right? Like I'm going to weed on in there and then I'm just going to, make something awesome out of something that's not supposed to be beautiful. But that's what life is, Bob, right? Life is not perfect. And all these people that you look at on Instagram and the YouTubes, it's not perfect. So I just want people to remember that so that like when you're struggling, just remember, at least you're not an Olympian who's told to go home.
And so how did you convince the coach to say, no, I'm staying?
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I said, listen, I've got 4 more events to do. So like, bear with me. If this happens again, then we'll talk. And I remember hearing out in the hallway, other coaches yelling at him, like, no, you've got to keep her here. She's going to swim, blah, blah. So it was not just a me thing. It was also a them thing. So I have to thank all the other coaches. And it ended up working out pretty well for everyone involved.
Oh my God. I had no idea about that. That's unbelievable to me. But the other part of it is after your career was over, you did get into triathlon, right? You were doing some Xterra races. And I think the goal down the line was to do an Ironman.
Yeah, the goal was to do Kona, right? You know how NBC loves their stories. So I was training for Ironman. I went out with some girlfriends. Got a little silly and I had a terrible bar dancing accident and blew my knee out. So ended up not going to Kona.
What? Wait, you were going to go to Kona and then you hurt yourself in the bar?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, great stories, right? Like, so yeah, I didn't end up going, but I always loved my road bike, always loved my mountain bike, like loved to get out there and do the things. But I remember my first triathlon, Bob, you're going to love this story. So we're getting ready for the swim, right? And I'm up on the line and it's a lake swim. So you got to run in and whatever. And this girl comes and stands in front of me. And I look at my friend next to me and she just gave me this look like, oh God, what's going to happen? So I tap this precious young lady on the shoulder. I go, hi, quick statement here. you can stay in front of me and that's fine. But in about 10 meters, I'm going to overtake you and I will grab your ankle and pull you under the water, or you can scooch over next to me. You can decide.
Nice. What'd she do?
She scooched over.
It's so funny because I sent your video that we just did to the president of Ironman, and he goes, does Amy have any interest in still doing an Ironman? And I'm like, I think we could probably, if she does, I think we could probably make that happen.
I mean, I listen, you'd have to swim that 2.5 miles, but that would be one way to get me back in the water, right?
Don't you think? That
You're
would
right.
be a pretty cool thing. NBC story, here we come. I think that would be pretty damn fun.
I think it'd be fun.
I know you have another interview to run to. Thank you so much for being part of our CAF family. Hopefully next year we'll either have you on the $1 Million Challenge bike ride, 640 miles. I think you can bring Eassist. You'd love that. Yay. And then that finishes up at our best weekend of try. And having you there to work with our kids would be wonderful.
I will be there no matter what. Whatever you need, Bob, I'm there for you.
I love it. Amy Van Dyken has been our guest, everybody. CAF's Heroes of Sport. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Thank you, Amy.
Bye.